So, okay, so I'm going to just walk you through some steps of when you feel anxiety. So, when you start to feel anxiety, the first thing to do is acknowledge that you feel anxiety. And that's easy. I feel anxious. And that's the first step, because when you ignore anxiety, what happens is it just builds. So it's still there, and your mind might want to push it away or make it wrong or try to get rid of it, but the feelings are still there. So the first thing, when you just admit I have anxiety, it actually causes a nice release in that first step. I feel anxious. Just admitting the truth of how you feel is very healing. So you start with admitting the truth. And then the second thing is to be curious. As I mentioned before, our initial reaction to anxiety is to make it wrong or to feel bad about having it. Like, I'm not good enough, and I shouldn't be feeling this way, but I am, and I need to be positive now. And you're trying to change how you feel artificially rather than getting to the root of why you feel that way. So the second step is to just be open and curious about your anxiety, to let it take up a space. And some people are afraid to do that because they think that they're going to become overrun by that chaotic feeling. And actually, when you give it a little bit of space, you can now have an opportunity to listen to your anxiety and tune in. So if you're really super anxious, if you're like at an 8, 9, or 10, you might want to first connect your anxiety by going running or doing something physical to try to discharge the energy more quickly before really dropping into that space. So that's one way. Some people go into their car and they scream and they let it out. They just let this energy out. So that's a way that you can start. If you feel like it's too much to try to listen to your anxiety, you can go out for a brisk walk and try to discharge some of that energy. Sometimes anxiety is a buildup. It's a buildup of energy on your nervous system, and it needs to be discharged. You can also work with it physically, and also through things like yoga, movement, running, walking, Tai Chi. So, but then you want to be coming back to being open and curious about your anxiety. And it might be one of these 7 reasons that I spoke about, or it could be something else. But it's kind of becoming that compassionate witness and a compassionate investigator to your anxiety. So your anxiety is coming as a messenger. And now, what is the message that you're going to receive? And the anxiety might say, this just isn't right. I use the job thing because that's something a lot of people come to us about. My job isn't feeling right, and it's causing me anxiety, but I don't know what to do. But even just acknowledging, I think this is what's causing my anxiety, will again create a feeling of being comforted and soothed, because truth is what alleviates anxiety. Truth. When you're honest with yourself and you get really honest about where you think those feelings are coming from, it starts to lift the anxiety. And then lastly, taking the action from your intuition. So when you have identified what's making you anxious or what's causing you anxiety, maybe it's going to this engagement once a week and it makes you feel anxious. The people there, the vibe, whatever it is. And then you decide, well, that's not feeling right for me, so I'm going to disengage. I'm not going to go. So that would be the perhaps prompt from your intuition to do something different. So you would make that different choice based on, what's coming through you, what's true for you. Or maybe it's going to the group but showing up differently, telling them the truth of what you need from that group. So these are ways that you can start to alleviate anxiety. Another powerful way that I call an unconventional way to deal with anxiety is to pray. Now, if you feel uncomfortable with the word prayer, you can use the word affirmation or intention. It's a way of being able to positively focus your mind and your energy. So if you struggle with anxiety, you can say a prayer or say an intention that I would like to release this anxiety and experience peace. And then make your focus peace. Make your focus presence. Whatever you would like that positive focus to be. And you'll find that when you start to focus your energy in that way, while breathing and being mindful, it will shift immediately. And the more you practice this, the more you'll start to receive the benefit from that practice. So that's a way that you can also deal with anxiety, is through prayer. Prayer is a very powerful way to shift energy. It's a way to heal. It's a way to manifest your intentions. It's a way to listen to your inner guidance. So thanks so much for joining today. And I'll just pause again before we close. So remember to listen to your anxiety, to tune into yourself, to be honest, and to compassionately witness your anxiety. And in doing so, you'll find that it naturally begins to shift. And then you can also have a positive focus of prayer to shift any stress or anxiety.